Welcome to Nursing Leadership and Management course. In this lecture, we will discuss the basic concepts of leadership and management, as well as distinguish between the different roles they may assume. First, let's go over the objectives of today's class. By the end of this lecture, you should be able to meet the following lecture objectives: differentiate between leadership and management, distinguish characteristics of effective leaders, identify leadership theories, and apply knowledge of leadership theory in carrying out the nurse's role as a leader. First, let's review the three main concepts that drive the content of the text in this course. The three concepts are managing, leading, and following. Managing is the act of any individual who guides others through a series of routines, procedures, or practice guidelines. Managing can also refer to control of one's own individual work and energy. It also refers to persons holding a position of authority. Leading is using individual traits and personal power to interact constructively to resolve problems. Leaders set direction, build commitment, and confront challenges. And following is just as accountable as leading or managing. Followership and leadership are separate, but have reciprocal roles. Without followers, there cannot be a leader, and there cannot be followers without a leader. Followership is not a passive, unthinking role. The most valuable follower is a skilled, self-directed employee. A good follower participates actively, invests his or her time and energy in the work of the group, and thinks critically and advocates for new ideas. This slide provides a clear distinction between leaders and managers. Effective managers are able to get employees to do the work and do it well. Leaders provide common vision for the employees. There are some of the tasks leaders and managers conduct. Leaders have more holistic approach, while managers are more task-oriented. One author, Blake, also identifies 9 tasks of followership. Good followers suggest solutions for problems, are interested in the work, listen carefully, support new ideas, are accountable, and communicate well. They also continue to learn and share what you learn with others. The positions of both leaders and followers are necessary and important. Those employees who are skilled and self-directed are valued followers within an organization. To be an effective leader and manager, there are certain attributes that are needed for success in his or her role. These attributes include vision, critical thinking, intuition, responsibility, communication and coaching skills, ability to identify the needs of others, ability to set boundaries, be trustworthy, motivated, competent, build teams and trust, affirm values, and renew energy among employees. One of the main attributes needed for leadership, management, and followership is what is called emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is defined as possession of social skills, interpersonal competence, psychological maturity, and emotional awareness devoted to helping people work well together. Emotional intelligence is what helps people see others in a positive light. In other words, 2 managers could reach the same decision and present the idea to 2 groups. The one with the skills inherent in emotional intelligence is likely to be perceived in a more positive term, even though the outcome may be the same. To be emotionally intelligent, consider 5 domains. The 5 domains of emotional intelligence are associated with competent practitioners. Having self-awareness means that you can identify the emotions you are feeling and that you know how they are altering your perception. Managing emotions means that the negative emotions, such as anger, fear, passive aggressiveness, are avoided. Motivating self suggests that we would be inwardly driven rather than externally. Being empathetic suggests that we value differences in viewpoints and we don't side with one group versus the other. Handling relationships means that you are socially appropriate. According to Blight and Koziak, they say that we can divide theory about leading, managing, and following into two categories. The first are the leadership theories, and the second are the motivational theories. The four leadership theories are trait, style, situational contingency, and transformational theories. The four types of motivational theories are hierarchy of needs, two-factor expectancy, and organizational behavior modification. Let's look at a few of these examples in more detail. Trait leadership theory describes the leaders as a person with a set of physical or emotional traits characteristics like being intelligent. Style leadership theory are leaders who is a person who takes action with consideration to his or her relationship with and the context of others like subordinates or co-workers. This type of leader is interested in feedback from co-workers and subordinates. Situational contingency leadership theory suggests that the leader is able to adapt his or her leadership and problem-solving style according to the present situation, depending on the follower's characteristics and environmental demands. This encourages the leader to consider a number of factors when deciding what action to take. Transformational leadership theory suggests that people need a sense of mission that goes beyond good interpersonal relationships or the appropriate reward for a job well done. Transformational leaders can communicate their vision in a manner that is so meaningful and exciting that it inspires commitment in the people with whom they work. In today's nursing settings, one of the two approaches to leadership is being used. The first, transactional, focuses on what is thought of as the traditional boss image. The chief nursing officer and the directors and managers convey that they are in charge of the decisions. The second approach is transformational. This approach relies on the group to provide input toward creating goals and setting standards. In so doing, the staff value the organization as their own and expect to help shape its future. Transactional leadership depends on the leader trading favors for work performed. For example, someone who does some undesired task is offered a better shift or the opportunity to attend a conference. Leaders with this approach are busy observing workers and correcting them when they are wrong. These are the people who make you think that while you have done dozens of things correctly, the only thing they see is the one thing that isn't perfect. This type of leader also tends to maintain the status quo and not deal with something until it is an issue. Once it is an issue, however, this leader is willing to address it and typically create more rules around the observable events and not necessarily address the core issue. The transformational leader is always trying to bring groups together and asking proactively how to make something better. These leaders invite comments about decisions before they become final and also seek input regarding established policy to make it more realistic and valuable. They exhibit the behavior of challenging practices because they value that quality in others. They try to catch people doing something right. Finally, what is important to so many of us is that they connect with the personal things that make us feel valued in the workplace. Thanking, praising, and exhibiting caring are key attributes of this leader. There are 6 strategies your text identifies to develop your own leadership. Even if you have been a leader elsewhere, it is useful to consider these strategies in the terms of your role in nursing. Selecting a mentor is one of the most important things you can do. Finding a person who is willing and able to be open to help you think through various decisions about your practice and your career is important. The person doesn't have to work in your same area. It is simply more useful to you if they do because he or she knows the details of your situation. However, someone external can ask unexpected questions that sometimes stimulate new thoughts for you. Leading by example simply means that you have figured out what the values of your workplace are and that you engage in developing those skills that exhibit these values. So, if the organization supports truth-telling and operates in a non-punitive environment, your comfort with speaking up should allow you to admit errors and offer suggestions for improvement without fear of being penalized. Accepting responsibility is another way to develop as a leader. As in the prior example, speaking out conveys responsibility. This strategy may also mean that you volunteer to take on some additional challenges. Sharing the reward means that you always acknowledge the work of others. It also could entail telling the manager when he or she is doing a good job. Having a clear vision basically means you know where you're going. How are you going to improve? What do you want to have others say about you? And finally, being willing to grow means that you must be proactive about learning the discipline, as well as learn about life in general and blending the two to maximize both. Reading, studying, and discussing are involved in these growth steps.